Kiddos, we're on Among the Betrayed, chapter 21. In the last chapter we read, Nina and the kids decided they were going to go down to the river to get water. And then while they're there, Nina says, "Hey, we need to clean up. We're dirty. We're filthy. So let's get in the water." The other kids say, "No, because we don't know how to swim. You don't know how to swim." Well, she, gets in anyways, and she's okay. She's got her feet in the mud. She's excited. And then all of a sudden, she can't feel the bottom anymore. And so she kind of starts going under the water because she doesn't know how to swim. So she finally regains herself on a flat piece of ground underneath her. And then she sees on the bridge two uniformed officers, and they look like they're possibly population police. And they say, "You there in the river, that's not allowed. Come out and show us your ID." So right now we've been confronted with somebody who wants them to show them their ID. Chapter 21. If only Nina could swim. She wanted to dive back into the water, swim for miles without surfacing once, escape. Failing that, she needed to jump out of the water, run through the woods, hope she could disappear into the trees. But the population police would only start a manhunt here, comb through the whole area. She didn't have a chance. All those images, swimming, running, being caught, flashed through Nina's mind in an instant. She even saw Percy, Matthias, and Aaliyah being caught with her. It would be all Nina's fault. She had betrayed them after all. Nina froze in agony. Her mind wouldn't supply a single response she could give to the uniformed men, a single method of buying even a second more to think. Then she heard Aaliyah's voice behind her. "Just a minute," the little girl said. "My sister and I left our IDs with our shoes on the shore." Okay, Nina thought, a part of her mind surprisingly lucid despite her terror. That gives me an extra minute or two. I should have thought of that. But won't it make the policemen angrier when they discover she's lying? "Get your IDs then," one of the men on the bridge growled. Nina looked back over her shoulder. Aaliyah disappeared around the bend. It's just not fair, Nina thought. Now Lee and the boys are going to be safe, and I'm not. She could just imagine Aaliyah and Percy and Matthias running now, getting as far from the river as possible. Sure, Aaliyah had given Nina a little extra time, but what good was it? How long before the population policeman on the bridge realized Aaliyah wasn't coming back? What would they do to Nina then? But there was Aaliyah, wading back toward Nina, carrying two plastic cards in her hand. Nina gaped, strained her neck to see what Aaliyah was holding. Aaliyah drew even with Nina, slipped her fingers into Nina's hand, and pulled her along. "Don't look so surprised," Nina hissed out the side of her mouth. "Let me do all the talking." That wouldn't be hard. Nina was so stunned. She didn't think she even had a voice anymore, for she glimpsed the cards in Aaliyah's hand, and they looked like ordinary IDs. One was stamped Susan Brown, the other said Janice Brown, and they contained Aaliyah's and Nina's pictures. No, Nina looked again. It wasn't really their pictures, but the resemblance was so close. Nina was sure the policeman would be fooled, as long as she and Aaliyah didn't make any mistakes. Aaliyah held the IDs as carelessly as if they were just some pretty leaves she picked up off the ground. They reached the shore, and still Aaliyah marched forward, Nina trailing by a few steps. The brush growing at the water's edge poked her ankles and pricked her feet. She stepped gingerly, half stumbling. Aaliyah's strong grip held her up. "It's illegal to swim in the river," one of the men said sternly. "That's government property. We could arrest you for trespassing." Aaliyah held out the IDs for inspection. He took them, glanced at them quickly, then handed them to the other man. "Well," the first man said, "aren't you scared of being arrested?" "Oh, please don't arrest us," Aaliyah said, her little girl voice sounding even more sweet and childish than ever. "We're going to visit our grandmother, and we slipped in the mud. We couldn't let her see us like that. We thought we could just wash off quickly. We didn't know we were breaking any laws. We're sorry. Where does your grandmother live?" "Terrazine," Aaliyah said confidently. Nina had never heard of the place. "Doesn't your sister talk?" the second man said, handing the ID cards back to Aaliyah. Aaliyah stuffed them in her pocket. "No, sir," Aaliyah said, just as Nina was opening her mouth to answer. Nina closed her mouth and hoped nobody had noticed. "My sister's mute, sir, and not quite right in the head, if you know what I mean. I have to take care of her, my mother says." "Well, you're a brave little thing," the first man said. "We'll let you go off this time, but you be careful and stay on the road from now on, you hear? We're not far from Population Police Prison, you know. I've been saying for years, if any of those prisoners escape..." "Oh, I know, sir," Aaliyah said, seeming to quell a shiver of fear. "My mother has told us about the prison." The policeman turned in one direction, and Aaliyah and Nina went the other way. Nina noticed for the first time that Aaliyah had her boots and Nina's looped around her neck, tied together by the shoelaces. Here, let's put your shoes back on, Janice dear, Aaliyah said a little too loudly. Dumbly, Nina stuck out first her foot and then the other, and let Aaliyah cram her stockings and boots on. She heard a car roaring away behind her. The policemen were gone. Nina sagged against a tree in relief. What? How did you? Shh, Aaliyah said. Sometimes they come back and check out your story. It's not safe for you to talk yet, but keep walking. She tugged on Nina's hand, and Nina obediently kept pace beside the young girl. They were walking down the middle of the road now, in plain sight for anyone to see. Can't you explain as we walk? Nina grumbled, trying not to move her lips. Nope, Aaliyah said. The sun beat down from overhead. The woods fell away alongside the road, and they walked past scattered houses and scraggly fields. This was countryside Nina had seen twice before, coming to school and then leaving it. But she'd been inside of a car, and numb with fear both times. She was beyond numbness now. Her mind kept replaying her moments of terror, the water pulling her under, the policeman yelling, Come out and show us your ID, and Aaliyah coming to the rescue. When it's safe to talk, Nina said quietly, when she met up with Percy and Matthias again, the three of you are going to tell me everything. And I'm going to tell you everything too. Aaliyah flashed her a look that Nina couldn't read. It might have meant quit talking. It might have meant you're crazy if you think we're telling you anything. But also have meant, all right, it's time to share. Where in the world did Aaliyah get ID cards with Nina's picture on it? That makes no sense at all. Something's going on. Something's fishy. I don't trust anybody at this point. All right, guys, stay tuned for chapter 22.